Welcome to Friday Friends, RI Elder Info's weekly look at the organizations and individuals providing resources for Rhode Island seniors, caregivers, and professionals.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It is 9 o'clock on Friday, and you are watching or listening to me, Deb Burton, the host of Friday Friends, where every Friday we bring you information that you or someone you know needs to know about. And we are talking about a really cool program that is doing amazing things to enable folks to be empowered and remain in the community. So make sure you hit the like button, the share button, all those bells, whistles, social media cues to let people know, hey, check this out, because this is really helpful information. And make sure you're following us so that you always get the latest information as well. Now, as you all know, we are a 501c3 nonprofit, and we could not do this without the help of our sponsors. So a big thank you to Point 32 Health Foundation, United Healthcare, as well as McCarthy Law. Here's a message from McCarthy Law.
Here at McCarthy Law, we practice in the areas of estate planning, long-term care planning, elder care law, and residential real estate. Our focus is really on providing peace of mind to our clients.
If you're interested in scheduling a consultation with our office, you can feel free to reach out to us at 401-541-5540. You can also reach out via website at www.mccarthylawri.com. You also should check out our social media, both on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn for some helpful tips and tricks.
Welcome, Caroline from the Village Common. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So it's been a while since I've had you on Friday Friends, and so much has changed and grown in very exciting ways. So for folks who didn't see the earlier episodes, can you tell everybody, what is the Village Common of Rhode Island?
Thank you. I would love to. The Village Common of Rhode Island, we're a nonprofit. We're volunteer driven, and we support older adults to stay in their home and community, grow older in their home and community with the help of volunteers, with whatever a volunteer can do. Driving to medical appointments, hair appointments, grocery stores, running errands, light household maintenance like climbing a ladder to change that ceiling light bulb or moving AC units in and out, tech support, resetting routers, setting up a printer, teaching how to use an iPhone, friendly calls and visits. And our volunteers help older adults with these things through what we call a village. And a village is a geographic area where volunteers have agreed to support these older adults.
And for the volunteers, I have lots of questions. The volunteers that can come out, do they go through background checks? Where do you find your volunteers?
So our volunteers are amazing. We have about 550 volunteers right now across the state. And they do all undergo a national background check. It's done online through Sterling background checks. And it is required for every volunteer, however they serve, if it's a steering committee or directly with an older adult. They undergo some training and an orientation, and then they're ready to serve.
Wow. So the things that the volunteers can do, when you say like light housekeeping or household chores, how is light defined? Because my definition of light might not be the same as somebody else's. So what does that look like? What are the limits?
Fabulous, fabulous question. So anything that should be done by a professional, regular housekeeping, plumbing, electric work, something like that that's significant should be done by a licensed professional. Our volunteers can climb that ladder to help change a smoke alarm battery or that ceiling light bulb. They can help with curtains hanging and or taking them down. They can move winter and summer clothing back and forth because those coats can get heavy and bulky. They'll sometimes move heavy boxes down from an attic so that someone can look through and donate. Things like that are great tasks for a volunteer. Anything regular like vacuuming every week, that should be done by a professional. A volunteer might help if somebody's hurt their hip for a couple of weeks with certain things like that. It's really depends on the availability of a volunteer. It's always good to try and put in that service request, of course, but anything regular should be done by a professional. Other things can be done by volunteers.
Yeah, that makes sense. Nobody wants to volunteer to go clean somebody's house every week, but if you have a friend who's like under the weather and they need, somebody to kind of chase the dust bunnies for, a week or so, that's two very different things.
Exactly. And sometimes when someone is discharged from hospital, they might need help like standing and chopping vegetables for a week or two, or, putting the groceries actually into the fridge for that person. So things like that can be done for sure and are super helpful. But just like you said, anything regular should be done by a paid professional.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was just thinking in terms of like the groceries. So often, if you're in the hospital and you have any kind of procedure, they say, don't lift anything greater than a gallon of milk. That either means you're going to have to go to the shop, to the grocery store twice as much, so that you get 2 half gallons, or get some help.
Right. That's exactly it. And honestly, sometimes when you get discharged, you might need some help cleaning out the fridge. And volunteers have absolutely done that. That's just a reality. If it was an emergency room visit, not planned, and things happen like that, then a volunteer would be so happy to step in and help out with that.
That is awesome. So how long has the village model been around in Rhode Island, or just been around?
Yeah, so it's been around about 25 years now. It started in Massachusetts. There's now 350 villages across the U.S. in these 25 years. In Rhode Island, we have 11 villages, and we've been around. We're celebrating our 10th year anniversary this year. This is our 10th year as a nonprofit. So in Rhode Island, the village movement has been here for 10 years, starting with one village, Providence Village, and now up to 11 villages.
Holy cow. So what communities are they in?
Yes, and so I will make sure I read it. It's also all on our website, villagecommonri.org. But we're in Aquidneck Island in the communities of Newport, Middletown, and Portsmouth, Barrington, Bristol Warren, Burrillville, Cumberland, Edgewood.
Yeah.
Exeter will be coming on very soon. They would be our 12th, actually. Gloucester, Jamestown, Providence, Warwick, and Westerly.
Oh, so you are, as you were saying that, I was kind of like driving around the state in my head, and you really are serving some of the areas that are challenged for resources for our older adults. So that's really important right now.
Yeah.
What are you finding is the greatest need of your members?
So the greatest need as we age is driving. Sometimes older adults don't like to drive at night. Sometimes they don't like to drive in the winter. Or for example, our Jamestown village, sometimes they don't want to drive anymore off the island or go over a bridge or something like that. And so the main thing our volunteers do is drive older adults, drive the members to medical appointments, hair appointments, grocery stores. That's the main thing we do, for sure.
Wow. Okay. And when you mentioned like tech support, is that, coming in to like make sure that all the wires and cables are connected okay? Or is it kind of over the phone and we'll update the software? What does that look like?
Yes, our volunteers with their background checks can go into the home. So they can reset that router, they can set up a printer, they can sit next to you and show you how to use an iPad or an iPhone or something like that. They definitely are a very patient group of volunteers, and those volunteers tend to support each other and ask each other questions like, hey, I'm off to a home and I'm going to be working on this. Do you have any suggestions? The cables, the various cords, all those different things. So they definitely have some wonderful requests for tech support, and then they go into the home and they are able to help as much as they can.
That's awesome, because so many things are smart this and smart that. And having just switched out a TV in my own home recently, I was not feeling so smart in trying to get it connected.
Isn't that the truth? Oh my goodness. And then an update might come on an iPhone, and all of a sudden the app that you used to use doesn't look the same. And so volunteers can help with all of that.
And because they're background checked, this is not a situation where you get a random call of, hey, give us your credit card so that we can update your software. Like, these are real people coming out.
Absolutely. Exactly. And neighbors, they are neighbors from your community coming to help you.
Now, if you're a member of the village, is there a requirement of reciprocity? So if I need help, I am obligated to provide help to someone else? Or are the volunteers and the people that they're matched with maybe can do that? How does that work?
Yes, so that's exactly it. So we are a member organization, and our members pay dues. They paid on a pay-what-you-can basis to ensure that everyone can join a village. So you have those who receive service, the members. You have those who give the service, the volunteers. Now, sometimes they are the same. They can be a member and a volunteer. And that's really what creates that sustainability for that village, because everybody needs help, but everybody can also give some help in some way. Maybe they don't drive, but they are really good at chatting and can be a friendly caller. So there's no requirement on either side, but it's definitely wonderful when someone is both a member and a volunteer.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes volunteering in and of itself is very rewarding. It definitely reduces social isolation. Do you find that the village model reduces loneliness?
100%. We really are so much more than just that ride to the medical appointment or grocery store. We really are about creating friendships, meaningful connections, lowering and getting rid of that loneliness and isolation that so naturally comes with age. And so our village volunteers love to volunteer because they feel that they're back into that community. They are giving of their time. When one volunteers, their mental health improves 100%. They feel connected. They feel needed. Also, as we age, sometimes you feel like, I might not be as needed as I was in my 20s or 30s, but everybody has a role where they can give back to a community, and everybody is needed. What happens often is someone might join as a member, and then after a couple months, they are less lonely and they feel more connected. And that's when they start to share their gifts. Maybe they were an event planner as a profession, or maybe they used to do tech support for others in their job. And so they start to share their gift back to their community, and really improves their sense of that belonging, of their importance. Every older adult is so important, and we want everyone to feel connected back to their community.
I love that perspective that everyone has a gift to share. I think we maybe don't view what we have to share as a gift that we're giving to someone else, and also a gift that we're receiving from someone. I love that perspective. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
With your volunteers, sometimes there are folks in challenging situations, and we try really hard in the month of June to talk about elder abuse, recognizing it if something isn't right. What do your staff do, or I'm sorry, your volunteers do, if they feel like somebody's maybe in need of more help than what can be provided?
Yes, so super important is our Office of Healthy Aging. And so our volunteers are all taught to call the Office of Healthy Aging at 401-462-0555 if there's any sense that there may be self-neglect or abuse. It's incredibly important. Everyone is required to submit. It can be done anonymously. Our volunteers are taught to do that as well, just to ensure that everybody is kept safe in their community. Sometimes it's just as simple as letting folks know that Meals on Wheels it can be delivered to their home, or that there's other resources out there that are, with OSOL and providing, hearing support or vision support. There's a lot of great nonprofits out there. And so we help our volunteers learn about these resources so that they can then share it back out with their community. But definitely Office of Healthy Aging is a key partner of ours, ensuring that everybody is safe and healthy in their homes and communities.
Absolutely. And I would imagine when you have a volunteer who is there to provide that friendship and support in the ways that you need, it kind of pours into your cup. So maybe you're a little less likely to neglect yourself. So I love the many different ways that the Village Common supports folks. Now, if somebody watching wants to bring the Village Common model to their community, how do they do that?
Well, we would love to hear that from you. So if you go to our website, villagecommonri.org, and there's one of the tabs called Villages. One of them is Developing Villages, and there's some information there on how to contact us. You can call us, you can email us, and we're really happy to work with you and your community in developing a village in your area.
Awesome. And what is the phone number that they can call?
What is the phone number that they can call? That's a great question.
We never call ourselves, right?
I never, ever call myself. Isn't that wonderful? 401-228-8683.
8683 228-8683. And would they ask for you or one of the other coordinators, or
yes, so if they're wanting to develop a village, they would ask for Susan. And if they're inquiring about member or volunteering, then they talk to Gabriella.
Awesome. And the website for people to go to, what is that again?
That is villagecommonri.org.
Awesome. Now, as an organization that is, really driven by the volunteers, are you a nonprofit?
We are a nonprofit, and that's really important to who we are and what we do. We ensure that our monies are always spent really efficiently. We do spend money on background checks, on training for our volunteers, on phone numbers for our villages to call. So everything that we do just goes back into making our nonprofit that much stronger, and that much stronger at the local level as well. And we do need volunteers from all across Rhode Island with all various gifts, sitting on board committees, sitting on local committees, helping out with members. But our volunteers are amazing for sure. And we do rely on donations, just like other nonprofits. And so on our website, you can also go to the donate tab and support us in that way as well.
Okay. And for the volunteers, do they have to be members of the village, or can they sign up to be volunteers without maybe living in that community?
Yeah, that's a great question. So volunteers don't have to come from a village. They can come from anywhere across Rhode Island and support a community where they live near. And so then a volunteer wouldn't have to become a member of a village. They would just be a wonderful, really great and really grateful volunteer. We would love to see you.
That is awesome. And everybody goes through background checks, so everybody's legit. And if you got a shady background, stay away.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
I love it. It is so exciting to see how much this has grown in 10 years. And I feel like in the current environment, with a large population of older adults aging in every day, I feel like the need for this to grow is just exponential. I love
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah, our growth every year is significant simply because the need is there to support our older adults with however we can. And it's just with inflation and all the other things happening at the moment, it makes sense to be a part of a village.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. I really do appreciate it. I love what you're doing and just want to hype it as much as possible.
Thank you so much, Deb. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Everybody, if you have an opportunity, if there is a village in your community, join. If there isn't, go on the villagecommonri.org website to see about creating one. They need some community champions, so you have to have a little bit of skin in the game in your community. But this is a great way to create the circles of support that we will all need as we get older. And the volunteers, 18 and up, you can volunteer to be able to support older adults remaining in the community, to support each other, for us to support us. Caroline is an amazing resource, and the Village Common in all the different communities. There's still some that we need the Village Common in, but there are a lot of communities that they're out there, they're available, and they're making an enormous difference, reaching over 15,000 last year. Amazing. Well, everybody, I am so glad that you joined me today. I hope that you've hit the like button, the share button, the bells, the whistles, all the social media following cue fun things. I look forward to seeing you all again next week. In the meantime, be well and be kind.